Good afternoon. This is Lightning Safety Awareness Week, and here at Earth Networks we are providing live shows each day, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock. And the theme we are focusing on today is lightning safety outdoors. Now, as you can see, we are talking first of all about unfortunate circumstances with lightning, and that is deaths across the U.S. annually. So each year there are about 50 deaths in the U.S. contributed to lightning. Worldwide, 24,000. And injuries worldwide, 240,000, again due to lightning and thunderstorms. Now, as we go on here, we see that across much of the U.S. this year, we've had 6 lightning deaths total. A man was injured by a lightning strike in Merrill. We also had one person killed, another injured after a lightning strike in Florida. Incidentally, Florida is the lightning capital of the U.S. There's more lightning strikes in Florida than any other state, and you can see the best concentration was in Florida. Lightning fatalities across the world. Research shows that up to 24,000 people die each year from lightning, 3,000 people in India due to severe weather conditions like lightning, and lightning deaths and injuries are common in other countries like Asia, like Bangladesh, Australia, and Africa. So the risk factors include warm climates like Florida in the U.S., lack of alerting tools to indicate where the lightning is and how far away you are from the storm, and outdoor professions and recreational activities. Earth Networks, though, works with countries and states around the world to help protect those most at risk. We have a total lightning network here at Earth Networks. Now, the danger, you can see this in this image. Okay, here we go. This is September 13th, 2013, University High School in Orlando, Florida. As you can see, there's a football game going on in the evening. Lightning has hit a tree. A late evening game between Orlando University and Boone High School. Typical halftime scene. The teams are on the sidelines, the marching band is on the field, the visitors are in the stand. No storm in sight. Of course, it's difficult to see a storm at night, but here's the lightning flash. Lightning strikes, only half of the people react, and the band actually played on. Now, as we go here, proceed, so this was an incident between 8 and 9 p.m. local time, 10-mile radius search from the school with our Earth Networks total lightning network system. So we picked up 130 CG, that's cloud to ground lightning strikes and in-cloud pulses. Also, take a look here. Large area of lightning activity leading up to the strike. So there was a bunch of lightning, a lot of storms in the area, concentrated a couple miles southwest of the school. The strike was detected by our system at 8:45 p.m. local time. Earth Networks has the ability to capture the exact time and also within feet from the actual location of the lightning strike. And as you can see, there was plenty of lightning around the field. So these folks could have been warned ahead of time of an impending storm using the Earth Network's total lightning system. Now, when thunder roars, go indoors. There's little you can do to reduce the risk of a thunderstorm if you are outside. The only completely safe action to get inside a safe building or vehicle. So where do you go? Okay, so a thunderstorm is going on. You want to go to a large enclosed structure with plumbing and electrical wiring. Shopping centers, schools, office buildings, private residents, and enclosed vehicles. Okay, where do you not want to be during a thunderstorm? Buildings with exposed openings, like a beach shack, a metal shack, a baseball dugout during a baseball game, like a Little League game in the afternoon or evening, a carport, a picnic shelter, a metal shed, a porch, vehicles with open cabs. So if you're on the golf course, you do not want to seek shelter in the golf cart. Tractors and convertibles, and also construction equipment. All right, so these are the places you do and do not want to be. There is a method, you might have heard of it before, it's called the flash to bang method. You see lightning outside, you count until you hear the thunder, divide the number by the number of seconds by 5, you get the result, the distance you are from a storm. Okay, so this is a simple equation you can use, but it's really only valid for where the center of the storm is. So it's very subjective. It's very user-dependent, not very consistent. Lightning is a very chaotic thing. Lightning occurs between like 3 and 10 to 15 miles outside of a thunderstorm, so it's not the best indication of how far away you are from, well, it's a good indication of how far away you are from the storm, but not a good indication of how far you are from the next lightning strike. So it takes time, it involves math calculations, it's manual, it creates some ambiguity, and it's only good for about a 10-mile radius. So basically you could be out hiking, you could be out in the wilderness, and you do this method, use this method. That's only a good indication of where lightning is within a 10-mile radius of where you are, whereas if you had some other tools, you might be able to know in advance, even more in advance, when a storm is approaching. So it's not a very good method to use for the reasons that I indicated. So there are free weather apps out there that show you hour by hour what's going to happen. They're not hyperlocal, they're not real time, there's no source of truth with that. They use basic standard atmospheric equations to determine if a thunderstorm is going to hit, but as we know, the atmosphere acts in a very unmathematical way. So what you have is maybe 100% chance of a thunderstorm for 5 o'clock, but nothing actually happens. But hey, guess what? It says 0% for 6 o'clock, and boom, there's a thunderstorm. Well, as we go here on, yeah, it's okay to use these apps as maybe a guide, but what you really want to do is hone in on some GPS systems like the Earth Networks, Total Lightning Network, and Earth Networks to figure out exactly where the storm is and where the storm is heading. Threat of lightning casualties. Now, most folks heed warning too late. They'll wait for the rain to occur. They'll wait for the lightning to be right overhead, or wait till they hear the thunder and then see the lightning simultaneously to seek shelter. It's a little bit too late. So a lot of these lightning casualties happen as the storm quickly approaches, when the storm is overhead and when the storm is departing. Most folks think, okay, the rain's over. Yeah, storm's over. Well, lightning can strike 10 to 15 miles away from the storm. So we get a lot of these lightning casualties when the storm is quickly approaching, when the storm is overhead, and when the storm is departing for those reasons. So as we go forward here, when all else fails, if you absolutely cannot get to safety, you can slightly lessen the threat of being struck by the following tips. If you're in an open field, you want to be crouched down. You do not want to be on top of a hill. You do not want to be on a ridgetop. Lightning tends to be attracted to tall objects. Lightning takes the path of least resistance, so it wants to go towards the top of the trees or the top of the hills. So you want to avoid those locations, go into a little valley, stay away from tall trees, but maybe some smaller trees if they're nearby. If you're in a group, spread out to avoid the current traveling between the group members. So you want one person over here, one person over there, so forth and so on. If you're camping or open area, set up the camp in a valley, ravine, or some low areas, and of course stay from water, because water is a good conducts electric very well, or wet objects and metal objects, because those are conductors. Plan ahead. Know the nearest lightning safe shelters where you are. If you're out in the Great Smoky Mountains, know where these lightning shelters are. Out in the Rockies, have a lot of lightning this time of the year and thunderstorms. Carry a no-weather radio with you. You can find those in most electronic stores, or a portable radio. Utilize weather technology. Earth Networks has a great total lightning network, and that we look at in-cloud charges and cloud-to-ground discharges. And why is it important to know where the in-cloud lightning is? Because that's usually a precursor of where the cloud-to-ground lightning could occur, and that is where the storm could travel towards. So if we look at the in-cloud lightning, that could be a precursor to a thunderstorm that could produce cloud-to-ground lightning at your location. So you would be alerted well ahead of time before the main storm arrives. Do not go back outdoors until 30 minutes after the last thunderclap. So it's a general rule of thumb if you are outside. Get prepared for severe weather when you're outdoors. Commercial grade weather information, network-based real-time data, Earth Networks. Data is refreshed every second instead of every hour, so you're constantly getting updates, and the lightning is updating every second, so you know exactly where the storm is currently and where it's moving towards. Professional meteorologists like myself at Earth Networks, we watch the facility 24/7. We watch storms and their patterns to identify where the lightning is going towards and how close it is to your facility and when it will exit your parameters. Designed for commercial use, SLA, redundancy, and uptime. So there's definitely an upside potential to avoid lightning casualties using Earth Networks total lightning systems and having a meteorologist monitor your facility. Plan ahead for all scenarios. Watch the weather at all points of interest. You want to create a policy to give everyone on a common standard, like places do, for example, when you are during snowstorms. You have people in place during snowstorms. You want to have people in certain places whenever you have lightning. Give employees, to all the tools. Let them have access to all the tools available, and have a playbook for each weather scenario. You want total solution coverage rings. For example, you might want to set up a 25-mile radius outside your facility so that you can detect lightning within 25 miles. That might be the first sign of action for your company. When it's within 10 miles, you might want to be prepared for adjustments to your operation. And of course, if it's within 5 miles, then you want to have a plan of action. But with the Earth Network's Total Lightning System and all of our capabilities, you can set up these different lightning radiuses to know how far the storm is, and you can take action in each individual scenario, whether it's 25, 10, or 5 miles away from your area. Earth Networks was founded in 1993. Our headquarters is in Germantown, Maryland. The largest global environment observation networks, 10,000 global weather stations, 1,500 lightning sensors to get the exact location, the precise location of the strike. Creators of WeatherBug applications, sold the brand in 2016, but we continue to serve as a weather data provider, and we have an outdoor alerting system and weather stations. Customers and partners, look at this worldwide. Disney World, Six Flags, they all rely on our forecast, especially when it comes to the convective season like we are now, to know where the storms are and where they're heading. U.S. Air Force, Major League Soccer, NFL, Major League Baseball, the Weather Service, Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C., the Dow, John Deere, and the American Meteorological Society, just to name a few. And Spheric Maps is a great tool to use to see where lightning is actually occurring. You can see the concentration of lightning strikes in different areas. And for example, we can switch right now to see what's going on right now across the country. There are some thunderstorms actually occurring across Indiana and Ohio and actually parts of Kentucky. And there's a good deal of that lightning is actually moving from west to east. So those folks out there should seek shelter, because there's quite a bit of lightning showing up across the Tennessee Valley and that area. But there's definitely increase in convection across the Ohio Valley, across the area right now. So I think what we'll do right now is, this is Florida actually, and of course Florida is the lightning capital, and as you can see, this is an indication of where you would have what's called a dangerous thunderstorm alert, where you have a concentration of storms or lightning within a storm that could potentially produce severe weather. So we have the capabilities to highlight where this dangerous thunderstorm alert is, and when that is issued, that indicates a good potential for heavy rain, gusty winds, hail, and possible tornadoes. So this dangerous thunderstorm alert could be a precursor to severe weather that is occurring across your area. This is a great tool to monitor lightning, these DTAs that show up, and also you can see the different radiuses, 5, 10, 15-mile radius outside a facility. So when thunderstorms move into your facility, if lightning is within that outer ring, you get a text notification. So you can plan ahead, like I mentioned in the previous slide. If it's within 10 miles, you get another notification, and 5 miles. And then you get the all clear after lightning has not occurred within 15, 30 miles after a storm has passed. We offer a 30-day free trial on Spheric Maps. Again, a great way to monitor the lightning. Start making informed decisions about severe weather. You'll get access to web-based weather visualization tools on any device, the world's best and most comprehensive real-time weather database. We have thousands of WeatherBug stations across the country and the world, and everything you need to monitor future conditions. I think at this point we'll turn it over to Carrie, and I'm sure she has a couple of questions from the Facebook users out there. So go ahead, Carrie.
Thank you, Chad. Great information. So the first question we got, I've heard that it's dangerous to be around metal during a thunderstorm because metal conducts electricity. Is that true? What about being in a car?
Yes, metal conducts electricity, so you do not want to lean against anything that's metallic if you are in a building, because you can get the current can travel down the wall, for example, and go into your body and affect you, obviously. Now, if you are in a car, the myth is that, the rubber tires will protect me from lightning. Well, it's actually the metal casing around the car that actually protects you from lightning. So you want to stay in your car during a thunderstorm, and also make sure not to lean against the door, because the current can travel through the door and ultimately impact you. So if you are in a car, do not lean against the door, but sit upright in your seat, and then after 30 minutes after the last class of thunder, that's when it's safe to get out of your car, because it also takes time for the current to travel through the car as well.
Thanks, Chad. Second question. How accurate are lightning detection systems like the ones Earth Networks provides?
Well, yeah, Earth Networks has a GPS type of system, so we're able to, Earth Networks is able to detect lightning within a couple of feet from where it actually occurs, so it's very precise. So when you get the notifications on your phone of lightning 5, 10, 15 miles away, you're actually, that's a very precise location, and it's a very reliable system to know exactly how far the lightning is from your location. If you're looking at a radar as well, you might be able to see the storm coming in and see all the lightning associated with it, but it's great to have that tool to initially know when lightning is 5, 10, 15 miles away from your location. It's a great tool to have, and it could protect you in the long run for sure.
Great, thanks. Third question. If you are stranded outside and have no way of getting to the nearest shelter before the storm passes, is there a safe way to crouch to help avoid being struck by lightning?
Yes, if there's no shelters nearby, you want to go into a valley or a dip, and you want to crouch with your toes only on the ground. The more surface area you have on the ground, the better chance that the current from a lightning strike that could potentially happen within 100 feet from you could travel through the ground and actually up and through your body. So the less surface area you have attached to the ground, the less likely you are to be hit by lightning. So when you crouch down, don't have your feet all the way on the ground, just your tiptoes. If you can do that, that will help to at least keep you from potentially getting the electric current from the ground up into your body if a lightning strike is nearby. So tiptoes, not flat feet when you crouch. Are there any other questions? Okay, that's good. If there are any questions from folks, you can be sure to ask on Facebook, and we will get back with you on those. Now, I do want to mention that we do have the lightning safety awareness continues. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we are talking about lightning safety indoors and protecting your home or business from lightning. So that is Wednesday at 2 o'clock.